Greetings! I am Herbert Erpaderp, and this is Herbert Erpaderp's Quick Tips. One of my patrons said a video on how to green stuff shoulder joints on Warlord plastics would be good. Warlord's plastic figures are normally quite nice, but unfortunately the shoulder joints are usually a little poor. You'll encounter this problem with many other models from other games and other manufacturers. I'm going to show you how I deal with this problem. You'll need some green stuff, or another kind of putty like milliput, some water, and some sculpting tools. These are cheap enough to buy, but if you don't have any or you don't want to buy some, you can use all kinds of things as an improvised sculpting tool, like a credit card, a knife blade or handle, and all manner of other things. As long as the object can handle being wet and you don't mind potentially getting putty stuck to it. If your green stuff comes in tape form like mine, it helps to cut out the middle section where the yellow and blue join. That part is usually hardened, and using it will cause there to be lumps in your green stuff that you probably don't really want. Mix the blue and yellow components together until you have a nice blob with a consistent green colour. You'll probably find it helpful to wet your fingers before doing this to help prevent the green stuff from sticking to your fingers. It can be tricky to know how much green stuff to mix. Try not to mix too much. It's easy to mix more of it if you need it later. If you do make more than you need, the best suggestion I've seen is to make little sandbags out of the excess. I take a small portion of the green stuff and roll it into a thin rope, or a snake, or whatever you want to call this. Then put it on or near the gap you want to fill. This can be a little bit fiddly because the green stuff wants to stick to all the things. You don't have to position it perfectly over the gap though. You can use your sculpting tools to shift it around. I try to press the green stuff down into the gaps to start with, just so that they're filled. I then try to shape the green stuff so it blends into the surrounding pieces of model. For arms like these, I've found this round, kind of pin-like tool to be quite useful. Make sure to keep the tool wet, or you'll end up pulling up the putty that you've been working on, which is quite annoying. Don't be afraid to use your fingers to manipulate the green stuff too. If you find you don't have enough green stuff applied, just add a little bit more and continue trying to blend it in with the rest of the model. You don't need a lot of putty here. We're not really adding extra details to the model or anything like that. You're just trying to fill the gap and have it blend seamlessly into the figure. This can be done with no sculpting talent at all. And once you've had a bit of practice, you'll be able to do this process fairly quickly. You can see in this before and after shot of the underside of the arm joint here that I haven't just filled the gap, but built up the corner a tiny bit so the arm and torso blend together a little better. And on this figure I have used the tip of the tool to try and continue the fold in the uniform on the torso across the joint. It's a little messy and rough looking, but for fabric surfaces like a uniform, that works. This was actually a bit harder to do on camera than I was expecting, but it is better than the gap that was there. You can see the difference here. There's not a lot of green stuff used, and once it's painted you would never know it was there. This was quick and quite easy to do. This same technique can be applied to armour, though because armour is often flat, I would say it's even easier to do. On the flat surfaces, it's really simple to just use the surrounding plastic areas as a guide and run your tool along it to flatten the green stuff down to the same level as the surrounding areas. This will help you get a nice smooth result, which is what you want for flat surfaces, obviously. Of course, do be careful to avoid leaving any green stuff in gaps you don't want to be filled. And of course, when using your fingers, you almost always want to drag them along the putty to avoid pressing fingerprints into it. So that's it. That's how I fill small gaps in shoulder joints, or any joint really. Clothing, skin, armor. The basic idea is the same for all of them. The main trick is to take your time if you need to, keep your tools wet, whatever you're using as tools, and pay attention to the details surrounding the joint. You really don't need specific sculpting tools to do this kind of thing. Improvised tools are fine, but I do recommend picking up a cheap set of sculpting tools. Not only are they good for this kind of thing, but they'll also be helpful if you decide you want to do other more advanced sculpting jobs. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any other techniques, tools, or products you would like me to demonstrate on Herbert Erpaderp's Quick Tips, let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button. If you thought it was a pile of turds, thumbs down. If you know anyone that might find this useful, feel free to share the video with them. If you've not done so already, go ahead and subscribe to be notified of future videos. And if you really like the videos I make, please consider helping to support the channel via Patreon. This can be done at patreon.com/HerbertErpaderp. A link is on screen now and in the description. I will be back again soon, so until then, happy modelling and thanks for watching. Farewell.